Am I the antagonist for backing my wife over my stepdaughter? So this morning my stepdaughter, aged 19, woke up with a mouse in her bed. Her cat finds them and plays with them occasionally. This would be the third one. This one got away, however, and my stepdaughter made a big deal about the mouse. We have traps and 3 cats already, not much else we can do, and she does live in the basement. Anyways, my wife kind of blew it off like it was nothing. My stepdaughter then called her rude and tried to get me to agree with her making her case in front of my wife, which then caused my wife to try to defend herself. However, as soon as she started saying something, my stepdaughter started saying "you're rude" over the top of her and continued every time my wife opened her mouth. This is quite common with my stepdaughter. Whenever anyone says something she doesn't agree with, she will talk over you to the point of screaming, repeating the same statement. Because of this, my wife found herself saying, "If you want to keep acting like this, you can get the F out of my house." My stepdaughter responded, "This isn't your house, you don't pay any bills." My wife is a stay-at-home mom for our autistic 3-year-old son. She helps with everything, even getting my clothes and lunch packed in the morning for work, lawn, snow, trash, minor house repairs, even does my stepdaughter's laundry. She doesn't make money, but our money is ours, and then stormed out of the house. Now my stepdaughter is claiming my wife is a terrible mother for threatening to kick her out when she is 19. I told her it isn't uncommon for parents to kick out kids that are being disrespectful and belligerent on a regular basis. Am I, or even my wife, the asshole? First of all, you may have a mouse infestation that you should probably have someone professional look at if you are finding so many in a short span. Your stepdaughter method of arguing is terrible, but so is your wife's. Threatening to kick a kid, okay, she is an adult, so maybe I should say your kid, out of the house during an argument is not right either. If you want to ask her to leave, think about it when everyone is calm, and if it's the best decision, then go ahead. Pulling out ultimatums in the middle of a fight just to get an upper hand shows me that the daughter's way of over-talking to win an argument is learned behavior. You guys have to be the adults and de-escalate the situation. All of you need to learn better conflict resolution. Edited to add, maybe we shouldn't focus on the mice as much as the human behavior. Look, you may or may not have mice sneaking in, but I still stand by everyone sucks here, since I really don't think yelling/kicking out during argument shows any more maturity than the SD being completely disrespectful. The thing with consequences is you have to lay it out. Hey, stop disrespecting us. The next time you do, we will ask you to leave and find another place to leave. And then after she does it, hey, we asked you not to be disrespectful. Please leave by XYZ date. If she doesn't, then call the cops to vacate her. Absolutely no need for yelling ultimatums. It's strange everyone is worried about the housing cost for a 19-year-old that isn't worried about it herself. It doesn't matter if she was a child last year, she is an adult, with a good job, living rent-free in someone else's home. She is disrespectful, and knows that she is disrespectful. She is violent, literally punched this man in the back of the head. But everyone is defending her. Mind blown, exploding head, exploding head, exploding head. OP, you are not the a-hole, your stepdaughter needs help. But she can't abuse the people she needs help from. And while I do think that arguing with her was very immature, I understand how you got there. I won't suggest kicking her out, but I also won't suggest letting her stay. And because she's put hands on the both of you and gotten away with it, she believes there are no consequences for her actions. Think of your other children when they get old enough to piss her off. NTA. Honestly, your SD's behavior is unacceptable anywhere, not just to your wife. Interrupting people and increasing your volume is not a way to win an argument. Also, it isn't your SD's place to pull the "this isn't your house" stunt, considering that it isn't her house either. Your stepdaughter feels it's okay to act that way to pretty much everybody that she doesn't agree with her. She has a shitty attitude and doesn't expect that at some point people will have enough of her shit. Yes, she is at that age that getting kicked out for acting the way she does isn't uncommon. In fact, more often than not, that is the best option for everybody involved in the situation. Am I the antagonist for being strict with one daughter and lenient with the other? I, 44 female, am the mother to two wonderful girls. For the sake of privacy, call them Claire, 16 female, and Lucy, 15 female. I love them both very much, but I do not treat them the same. This is because their interests are different. Claire is not very good at school. She is always getting bad grades, and she simply can't focus. At first we thought it was ADHD, but it turns out she's just not very academically gifted. On the other hand, Lucy is amazing at school consistently, top of her class, gets a 4.0 GPA, perfect grades, and all that. So what we have started doing is treating them differently. We realize that Claire is probably not going to university. I don't think she has good enough grades to get in, and wants to go to trade school anyway, so we respect that and allow her to go out and hang out with her friends. But because Lucy is so gifted, we have taken the opportunity to nurture her genius. We signed her up for a sort of math/robotics camp. We ask her to do the next year's homework to stay ahead. We encourage her to do extracurricular activities. We get her to train for academic competitions, everything. A bit more controversially, they have different screen time limits, as Lucy is taking more academically rigorous coursework and needs to study and focus more. We live in the Bay Area, so it is very competitive to go to university here, which is why we are pushing her so much. We know she will thank us later in life that we have given her a good environment to encourage her intellect. The problem is that Lucy and I got into a fight where she asked me why Claire is allowed to go out and do non-academic things, and I replied that the reason is because they don't have the same ambitions. Lucy got mad and told me I was favoring Claire over her, to which I replied that this was not true. Truth be told, I love both of them equally and I want the best for both of them, but realistically, if Lucy doesn't spend her time preparing college apps, doing extracurriculars, and using her intellect, she is wasting it, while Claire doesn't need to spend as much time on her future as there is much less uncertainty. I feel bad, and while I know I'm doing the right thing at the core, I feel like there might be something wrong with the way we have approached Lucy's education. Am I the antagonist? Edit. People are accusing me of abandoning Claire. Claire knows and agrees with this arrangement, as I have looked into options for community college or trade school with her. Her GPA is not good enough for any university, and she knows it. I am in no way insulting her. She is very much aware of her situation. She is very pragmatic and responsible. YTA. Do you even hear yourself? You don't want Lucy going out because she hasn't completed next year's homework. Thank you later in life? In her place, I'd be out the door by 12:01 a.m. on my 18th birthday and you'd never see me again. I get you want her to excel and she's bright and gifted, but you are effectively punishing her for doing well. YTA. What you are doing is making Lucy hate school, dread her future, resent her sister, and honestly she'll hate you, too. How about you ask Lucy what she actually wants to do in terms of her future and how she plans to achieve it, and then work with her to make a balanced schedule that allows her to work toward her goals while still having time to enjoy her life. You're treating her like some sort of idiot trophy who is smart enough to be your trophy child, but too stupid to be allowed a say in her own life. YTA. Forcing your child to work harder is not doing the right thing. There are lots of ways for Lucy to succeed, and being smart does not oblige her to go to college or follow the kind of career path you want. And pushing too hard at this stage is more likely to result in her burning out or not wanting to engage in college work, or just refusing to go. If Lucy doesn't want to do academic extracurriculars, then stop signing her up for stuff. Your kids are old enough to pick some of their hobbies and extracurriculars. If you want them doing something constructive, require each to pick 1 to 2 extracurriculars that are constructive. They don't have to be academic. The different screen limit times are complete bullshit. Not sure how you thought that was a good idea. We live in the Bay Area, so it is very competitive to go to university here, which is why we are pushing her so much. I'm not sure why you think Lucy has to go somewhere local. But schools being competitive there means nothing. She's got a whole world to pick from for secondary education. Get Claire some tutoring if you want her grades to improve. Ask her what tools she needs to boost those grades. I'm lucky to be relatively academically gifted, but I can guarantee you I wouldn't have gotten where I am without help. You're seriously underestimating what a simple hour group study with friends can do, asking if she needs help with homework. All you're doing is saying that she's not good enough. Have you ever considered that she is good enough? She needs that extra support instead of you resigning yourself to saying she's gonna fail. Because then she's gonna think she is gonna fail, especially by what you've said in the edit, then she will. Am I the antagonist for blowing up on a customer? He can rebuild the fence himself if he has a problem with me being a woman? I, F20, have been interested in woodworking since I was 12, and from 15 I was helping out at my stepdad's business. First it was just cleaning, holding, bringing things, but later I became pretty much a full employee outside studies. Last month was busy, so I took what seemed like simpler contracts or orders to do myself. One of those was making new and replacing some balcony fence planks. I talked with the customer on phone beforehand and later went there to take measurements and other details. When I first came, he didn't look exactly pleased, asking me if there's someone else coming later. I had that happen before. I have no problem with this. I tried to lighten the mood by saying how hard can using a tape measure and a drill be? Also said that he hopes the measures will be correct and then asked if I'll be the one doing the actual planks and replacement too. I answered most probably. Few days later, I went to actually replace the planks. He didn't say much at first, since the planks were good. But then he started nagging like you're holding it wrong. I wasn't. You're making mess here, with the old ones rotten into oblivion. All while basically breathing down my neck. That was tolerable still. What wasn't was him saying you said you can do it yourself. Or C, why trades are man-dominated? When I asked him to hold or hand me something. When I finished, he told me it wasn't half bad, but it could be better and faster. Like, excuse me, the size the match, lining, distances good and match, paint good. Why did it take longer? Almost as if there was something to speed it up little. I asked if he sees any particular problem so I can fix it. He said no, just that a normal woodworker would do it faster. I just lost it and said, well, I repaired your fucking fence. That makes me a woodworker enough, or not, because women can't be in trades. Why didn't you do it yourself if I shouldn't do trade jobs in the first place? He told me the good old respect elders and not to raise voice on customers, but you know, I can tolerate only so much. Am I the antagonist? Edit, forgot to mention, I did tell the client I have been doing woodworking for 8 years. Edit 2, thank you everyone so much for both the great advice and valid criticism I received so far. My comment about how hard can using a measuring tape and drill can be was very inappropriate and worsened the situation. I also realized keeping him around was bad and my fault, same with asking him the favors, noted for both future jobs, and to bring it up with stepdad. Ha ha ha, not the a-hole. He's a sexist old man wanting to uphold his superiority for as long as he possibly can. NTA, you're doing a craft that he probably can't do and you did it well. I'd have charged a PETA tax. Smacks forehead, I completely forgot. You operate a tape measure and drill with your genitals. I mean, raising your voice at a customer is not generally a great idea, but I don't blame you a bit. If he's such a genius, why didn't he just do it himself? WTF does gender have to do with someone's skill set? He deserved to get put in his place. Make sure you note in his file in the office that he's sexiest and should not be a repeat customer. I hope your dad backed you up on this. Am I the antagonist for calling out my parents on their favorism? I'm the oldest child in my family. I have one little brother who we will call Dan for the sake of this story. Dan is 5 years younger than me, and he was always the favorite child. Ever since little, I noticed that my parents always gave Dan more attention than me. Especially on our birthdays. I used to get 1 or 2 if I was lucky, Lego sets from them, but he always got something that was way more expensive. Last year he asked for a PlayStation. And he actually got it. On my birthday, I asked for a headset as my old one was soon going to be 7 years old. Did I get it? No. Instead, I got a coloring book and a few pair of jeans. While incidents like these when my brother was the favorite one aren't new, what happened 2 weeks ago really broke it for me. 2 weeks ago, it was Pride Parade in my city. Due to privacy reasons, I will not be saying where I live. As a member of the LGBTQ, I obviously wanted to participate. I asked my father to go with me, and he said yes. He even promised me he'd take a day off so we'd have the whole day to ourselves to spend some daughter and father time. Coincidentally, the planetarium in the city also opened an exposition about Mars in the same week. The exposition lasts until the end of the month, and Dan wanted to go. He asked my father to go with him, and they did. Every single day of the Pride week. My father completely forgot about going with me to Pride, but went with my brother to the exposition for a week straight. They could have gone to the exposition any other week. Why did it have to be then? I even reminded my father to go with me to Pride, and he said that the exposition was more important. Eventually, I told my mom about this, hoping she'd be on my side, but she just replied with, "Your brother is younger, let him have the fun. You'll have next year to go to Pride." That really struck a nerve in me, and I finally blew up. I told both of my parents that they were horrible for always choosing my brother over me, and that they shouldn't be surprised if I cut contact with them when I'm 18. I gave them numerous examples of when their favorism was obvious. I even told them that if my brother wasn't always such an attention seeker, maybe we would have had a normal relationship. My brother started fake crying, saying it's all his fault, and obviously my parents babied him and saying I'm an asshole for making my brother cry. So Reddit, am I the antagonist? Edit, to clear some things up, I have brought this problem up to my parents a lot of times. Even other family members have noticed it and were on my side. They are denying the fact that they are paying more attention to my brother, saying that I got 5 years to be just the two of them before my brother was born. Honestly, I think that's BS. Edit number 2, for everyone asking if I have another family member I could stay with, no. My family has moved 2 months ago to a different country where no relatives live. The drive back to my home country is over 10 hours, and I doubt I'd be able to go back alone, since I'm a minor. NTA, enjoy cutting them from your life. Remember this always. The best revenge is living well. NTA. Favoritism like this is not okay. I don't know if you being a girl is a factor, but it might be. NTA. Just because your brother is younger doesn't mean he gets to be babied and mommy coddled. Wait until he gets older and finds out about the real world. Best of luck, OP. Showing favoritism towards one child at the expense of another is one of the most messed up things parents can do. It can really screw a kid up. You've done all you can by bringing it up with evidence. If your parents refuse to acknowledge and take responsibility for their behavior, you gotta look out for yourself. I think going NC with them once you're able to would be a good lesson for them, but more importantly, I think it would be good for you to no longer have that on your mind. Stay strong, OP. Am I the antagonist for having more than just my brother's kids on my life insurance policy? My 41 female, younger brother Brian, 35 male, married to Amy, 34 female, 11 years ago. I really like Amy, she and I have a lot in common, and we became friends pretty quick. Brian and I have always had a somewhat tense relationship, stemming from a messed up traumatic childhood, but our relationship improved when he and Amy started dating. When they got married, I was super happy for them. Amy had a young child, Jenny. Jenny was 2 when they met. I immediately accepted Jenny as my own niece, and when Brian and Amy had 2 more kids, Aaron and Candace, there was no difference between the 3 of them in how I treated them. We had fun when I'd visit, and now that I live a little further away, and they're older, we play games online, chat, and I stay engaged. 3 ago, Brian and Amy got a divorce. I didn't take sides, and it didn't change my relationship with any of the girls. They're all still kids I care a great deal about. Amy got full-time custody, and Brian sees them fairly regularly. 2 years ago, Amy reconnected with a guy she dated in high school, and they hit it off. And now there's a new child, River. I've only had one chance to meet River, given the COVID situation, but I treat her the same as her sisters. She's my newest niece. I asked Amy for River's SSN so I could get her on my life insurance policy. It's a $500,000 policy offered through work. Amy thought it was kind that I'd accepted River so completely, and Jenny, Aaron, and Candace all seemed to be pretty happy that we're family, too. Adding River to the policy seemed practical, and I'm not exactly planning on dying anytime soon. Anyway, Brian moved in with a girlfriend he hadn't mentioned, Janet, 26 female, about 6 months ago. Hadn't met her before, didn't even know she existed. Apparently, Janet has a baby, Michaela. Brian contacted me to ask me to put Michaela on my policies and take off Jenny. I let him know that I'd like to meet Janet and Michaela first and build a relationship. Also, I wasn't going to take Jenny and River off the policy. If anything, Michaela would be the 5th niece added. When I mentioned that River was on the policy, he blew up. Apparently, he thinks that only my blood relatives should stand to receive benefits if I die. He's making this huge deal about it, saying if I don't put Michaela on the policy and take off River and Jenny, I don't get to meet her, and he threatened me with going NC. I told him that's unfortunate, and I'd be sad to miss out on his life and Janet's and Michaela's, but also, if he feels like he needs to do that, so be it. He's also tried to tell Amy that I don't get to chat with the kids anymore, and Amy is having none of it. Basically, he can be as pissed as he wants to, but she's not going to get involved in the issues between siblings, nor is she going to deprive the kids of an adult who cares about them. I don't think I'm the asshole here, but the intensity with which Brian's coming at me is just a lot. NTA. Brother is TA. What is with people who get angry when other people are treated well? NTAA life insurance policy is there to take care of those you care about and need it. It's up to you to decide who that is. Your brother just wants to stick it to his ex one more time. If your nieces get hurt in the crossfire, he could give a flying fart. Amy understands family is more than the length of a marriage contract. Stick to her and the kids. It's too bad about Michaela. Her father is an ass and decided to alienate you from her life. Just out of spite. I'd open some 529 plans up for them. Then send him a screenshot. NTA. Unless I'm misunderstanding, your brother thinks only blood relatives should be on your policy, but Michaela isn't blood related? Either way, he's out of line asking you to change anything on your life insurance policy. I will admit that having your brother's ex-wife's baby that is not blood-related to your family at all on your life insurance is unusual, but certainly very honorable, especially if you have a great relationship with Amy. Wanting to meet the new GF and stepniece before promising them a bunch of your money is completely reasonable. Am I the antagonist for not giving my sister-in-law money for a makeup artist for the wedding? This happened last year, but I am still receiving snide comments/remarks from my brother and sister-in-law about this. I am obsessed with makeup and skincare. It is probably one of my favorite things in the world. I'm not a professional, but sometimes I will do makeup for my friends/family for special events. Again, I'm not a professional, so it is only something I do for people that I know and I am very close to for obvious liability reasons, and because I just flat out don't want to. I also do not like when others use my makeup for hygienic reasons. When my brother and sister-in-law got engaged, I was thrilled. Sister-in-law is a sweet girl and treats my brother well. During the wedding planning, sister-in-law asked me several times if I would do the makeup for her wedding as well as her wedding party. I said no. I did not want all of those people using my makeup, and I explained that I was not a professional and would not do it. Sister-in-law seemed fine with my choice, and I thought we were fine. She sent a text message telling all of us that she hired a professional to do everyone's makeup and we would have to send her $150 before the wedding. I told her that I was not interested as I would be doing my own. She was upset with me and said that if she got 10 people to give $150, she would have her makeup done for free. I told her that I was not interested and stood firm that I was doing my own makeup for the wedding. My brother was super mad at me and called me a cheapskate, which caused us to get into a huge fight. We barely spoke at the weeks leading up to the wedding, and during the wedding both he and sister-in-law snubbed me. My mother got involved and basically said I should have just given the $150 even if I wasn't getting my makeup done, but I told my mom that I was already giving them a gift. Why should I give more money? I wasn't a bridesmaid or even involved in the wedding party at all. I was just going as a guest, and I gave them a $500 cash gift. Since then, my relationship with my brother is strained, and sister-in-law will not speak to me at all except for snide comments, calling me a cheapskate or making snippy remarks about my makeup when she sees me. Am I the antagonist for not caving and giving the money for the makeup artist? NTA. You weren't even in the wedding party? WTF. Sister-in-law and brother are being ridiculous. No way. NTA. You don't owe them $150. You weren't even in the wedding. When I got married, I told my bridesmaids what I planned to do for hair and makeup, and I'd love for them to join if they wanted to and could afford it. The end. And that's for someone I end the wedding. Your sister-in-law isn't as sweet as you think she is. I told my mom that I was already giving them a gift. Why should I give more money? I wasn't a bridesmaid or even involved in the wedding party at all. I was just going as a guest, and I gave them a $500 cash gift. I think you just answered your own question. You're not in the wedding party, you already got them a gift, you weren't offered payment for your services, and it's your supplies. NTA. They were taking advantage of you. I don't think this is about money at all. As you said, you're really into makeup. So I understand that you wouldn't want to have your makeup done by a professional, as you probably know your face best. Besides that, because of the amount of people these makeup artists have to do, they mostly rush the bridesmaids so they have enough time for everyone and extra time for the bride. So I would also just want to take the time on my own face instead of getting a rushed service from a professional.